Sometimes you'll hear people say that all of the writing systems in the world derive from just three original scripts: Chinese, Egyptian hieroglyphs, and Mayan hieroglyphs. So for example, the Arabic writing system, Hebrew writing system, Devanagari writing system that's used to write Hindi, the Brahmic writing system, and the Cyrillic alphabet all go back to the Phoenician alphabet, which was in turn derived from Egyptian hieroglyphs. And it's true that most of the world's writing systems did originate with one of these three systems, but not all of them. Researchers don't actually know whether Egyptian hieroglyphs and Sumerian cuneiform were related writing systems. Both of them were developing right around the same time, around 3400 BCE to 3100 BCE. And these two writing systems worked in such different ways that it's pretty unlikely that one was just borrowed from the other. It's much more likely that Egyptians borrowed the idea or technology of writing from the Sumerians rather than their particular Sumerian script. And we see this pattern of borrowing the idea of writing without borrowing the actual writing system in lots of places around the world. So the Anatolian hieroglyphs are similar to the Egyptian hieroglyphs, but they're not derived from them. There's no provable connection between the two. And the infamous Linear A script, which still hasn't been deciphered, also developed independently of both Egyptian and Sumerian. And as for Mesoamerica, the Mayan hieroglyphs actually aren't the oldest script in the area. The Olmec, Zapotec, and Isthmian writing systems all predate it. This Olmec inscription, known as the Cascajal block, dates back to 900 BCE, whereas the oldest Mayan inscriptions only date back to about 300 to 200 BCE. And what's interesting about the Cascajal block is that the characters on this block aren't related to and don't look similar to any of the later writing systems at all. So this might have been yet another case where the idea of writing was borrowed by other neighboring cultures. We also see a type of proto-writing emerge in India around 3500 BCE called the Indus Valley script. This is undeciphered, but again, there's no demonstrable connection to either Egyptian or cuneiform. And you notice that the date that this script was being used also coincides with the start of when Egyptian hieroglyphs and Sumerian cuneiform were being used. So again, it's likely that this concept of writing was borrowed into the area. And while we're talking about this idea of borrowing writing as a technology, I also have to mention the Cherokee syllabary. The influence from Latin here is obvious, but the creator of the Cherokee syllabary, Sequoyah, was illiterate. So the letters in this Cherokee script don't correspond to their Latinate sound values at all. This R-looking letter, for example, actually corresponds to an A sound. And Sequoyah's illiteracy also explains why he wound up developing a syllabary rather than an alphabet, because he didn't realize that the English writing system was alphabetic rather than syllabic. The Cherokee syllabary in turn inspired the creation of syllabaries used to write Canadian Inuit languages like Inuktitut, and that in turn was used for the Algonquian languages like Cree and Ojibwe. Finally, there's Hangul, which is the writing system used to write Korean. And while Hangul was certainly influenced by the Chinese writing system, it was a completely independent creation. So is it true to say that all writing systems evolved from these three original scripts? No. There are plenty of individual writing systems which didn't evolve from Chinese, Egyptian, or Mayan. But it does seem to be true that writing as a technology or as an idea only ever developed three times in history: in Mesopotamia, in China, and in Mesoamerica.